What's up, everybody? What I wanted to do today is do a quick review of the new Armstrong HA880. Compare and contrast the 880 to the 925, and hopefully make your choice of a new front wing a little bit easier compared to what I had to go through. And maybe this will help you make the right choice between the 880 or the 780 if you're coming off the 925. Now, my particular use case is for South Florida, which we have light winds during the summertime. That is typically between 10 to 15 knots, and winter time we have some good days that can get up to 20. I only do windsurfing, and I care mostly around catching waves and connecting bumps. I don't do jumps, I don't do tricks, I typically only windsurf. Being perhaps an intermediate rider, I wanted to have a single wing, front wing that is, replacing my trustworthy 925. As I don't typically change my foils, I find it very difficult to kind of keep changing the front wings all the time. So I wanted to have a single replacement of the 925. Being at about 165 pounds or what is it, close to 75 kilos, give or take. I wanted to see if the 880 would have been the right choice for me. Again, I struggle between the 780 and the 880 being the replacement for the 925. So I'm going to take it out on the water and we're going to see how it fares compared to the 925. Now, first thing I wanted to do is kind of show you the two wings. Span-wise, by the way, the one on the bottom is the new 880 and the one on top is the 925. Now, in terms of wingspan, you can see they're very, very close. The 925 is maybe an inch or two longer compared to the 880. In terms of, I guess, thickness, the 880 is about 2 millimeters or so. I'm going to measure it in a minute, thicker than the 925, which is on the top. And as you can see, the ghost shape of the 925 on top is way more pronounced compared to the 880, which is much flatter. The wingtips are also quite different. The one on the bottom is the 880. As you can see, it's the tip of the front wing, and it's a little bit more rounded. Okay. So I'm going to be using the digital caliper to measure the thickest section of the wing. So this is the 925, and it comes down to about 14 or so millimeters compared to the 880, which is maybe about 15 and a change. So that is in terms of thickness. Again, the 880 is on the bottom. From what I was reading online and some of the reviews, people were saying that the 880 is way thicker and slower than the 925. I don't quite see it yet, at least not from now. It's a little bit thicker, but not by much, really. Okay. So my replacement is going to be the 880 with the new 180 tail, and I'm going to show you the tails right now. Okay. So these are the tails. The 180 is the one on the bottom, and 195 is the one on top. And I will be replacing the old 195 with 180. And I did measure it already, and the 180 is about 1 millimeter thinner compared to the old 195. So perhaps the tail is going to be a little bit slicker, the 180 compared to the 195. And that's the profiles of the two. And in terms of wingspan, they're pretty similar. Maybe the 195 is maybe just half an inch shorter than the 180. But again, the 180 seems to be thinner and compared to the 195. So what I'm going to be testing with is my typical setup. I usually use the red shim. I'm going to be using the 865 performance mast. And we're going to be using that setup to compare the 880 to the 925.
All right, so I've already had 3 solid sessions with the 880, and I can kind of derive my preliminary conclusions about the foil. And I'm going to cover the key characteristics ranked by importance, to me at least. Glide, speed, pumping, lift, breach recovery, stall speed, and turning. Glide. I believe that the 925 has superior glide at higher speed, and vice versa, that 880 seems to be gliding longer at slower speed. That has to do with the stall speed, which is also, again, lower on the 880. Now, in terms of speed, the 925 is faster, hands down, no question about it, and that is felt quite a bit when you're surfing, specifically big waves. You can sense the difference um, with the 925, and in certain times where when you were able to kind of skip a bump with the 925 and jump on the one in front of you, that is now just not an option with the 880. You won't be able to do it. You're gonna have to contend with the wave that you're on, or either seek something to the left or right of you. Pumping is an interesting one. I'm not an efficient pumper, so what I felt is that 880 is easier to pump for me. Um, but I also think that someone who is an efficient pumper might find that the 925 pumps better at higher speed, higher cadence. I think that the 880 would help me kind of improve my pumping technique, but I think it's, at least for me, pumping is better on the 880. Lift is something that we all should probably use as kind of the key parameter on foil size. The 880 is much closer aligned in terms of lift to the 1125 than the 925. Um, and when I called the two Armstrong dealers, I think there was a genuine sense of confusion about size, lift, speed, all that. So I'm kind of discovering that on my own. I wish that Armstrong could have done something better in terms of prepping the dealers for the natural path of all of us who are coming from the 725s and 925s. What is the next natural, logical choice for us? And I think the Armstrong dealers are not currently prepared to answer basic question. So anyways, lift-wise, the 880 is almost identical to the 1125. So if you're, let's say, 170 pounds or 180 and you're on the 925 currently, do not get the 880, get the 780. I think you're gonna feel better with that foil. And vice versa, if you're, let's say, 200 pounds and up, and you're struggling with the 925, the 880 will be a good choice for you. Breach recovery, I find that very welcoming with the 880. One, it seems that the foil itself has some sort of a kind of breach resistance built in. Doesn't breach nearly as often as the 925, and when you breach, you can recover, which was not the case with the 925. If the 925 breaches, especially the center section, you're done. You're down for sure. The 880 you can recover. and that to me is an amazing feature of the 880. I love that. So good job on that. Stall speed, I'm sure all of you have already seen the reviews. It is true. The 880 has truly uh, low stall speed, and that will also let you glide longer at slow speed as well. Turning, I think you're gonna find the 880 to turn better, not better, easier than the 925, and that will make your, let's say, turning against the wave or making jives or tacks easier. That is my general feel. So overall surfing experience, I would say that the 925 um, shines better at certain conditions, and the 880 might be better at other conditions. If you're getting the 880 and you're thinking that you can surf like the 925, you will find that that is not going to work for you. Try to surf that 880 like a bigger foil, and that will give you a better success. Originally, when I got the 880, I was thinking that I'm on the 925, and I was trying to do stuff that I was doing in the 925, and things just did not come through. When I kind of reset my mindset that I was foiling in my mind a larger foil, then things started to click for me at least. Now, giving kind of the conflicting reviews so far, at least for me, you might be asking, is the 880 better than the 925? No, it's not. I think it would be fair to say that the 880 is just very different foil than the 925. Um, could it be my daily driver going forward? Yet to be determined. I feel that the 880 is oversized for me. I think I should have gotten the 780. Um, so I'm going to experiment with a smaller tail and maybe even shim the mast, see if that's going to improve things for me. But I certainly feel that I should have gotten the 780 from day one. Um, am I going to keep that 880 for the light days and maybe get the 780 as my daily driver? Probably not. I believe that the Axis Air T series are going to be my go-to for lighter days, which I have, as they seem to have superior glide and superior speed. They don't turn as well and they don't act well on bridging, but I think that I'm going to be going after the 780 at some point in the future. Um, Now, in terms of mass position, on the new board, I found that level 4 seems to be the optimum spot for the mast. Originally, I was playing with 6 and the 7. That was completely off, and I struggle with that. Once I put it a little bit backwards towards level 4, I think that things now are in balance for me, and I can serve significantly better. So the last thing I wanted to say is that try to get more info from other people, make your educated decision on what should be your foil size. My success with the Armstrong dealers was not positive. I think they're still very new to the new lineup and they're basically clueless about, based on your size and skill, what you should be getting. It certainly feels that the new HA lineup is perhaps two sizes down compared to where you are. So again, someone who is 170, 180, you should definitely look into the 780 front wing, specifically if you're coming from the 925. Well, I hope you find this useful. Stay safe and see you in the water one day. Cheers. Bye.